Hey, welcome or welcome back to my channel. In today's video, as you can tell by the title, today I'm going to share how homeschooling has been going as well as postpartum, right? So, if you're new here, welcome. Hi, hello, I'm Shadiamond, a homeschooling mom to now 4, an 8-year-old, 6-year-old, 3-year-old, and a 4-week-old baby. So it's been 4 weeks and I'm starting to feel a little bit like myself. So I wanted to just document this journey and help another mom who is going to be viewing this video to help prepare for her postpartum, or a new mom who's going through postpartum and is looking to see what other moms are doing. This is the video for you, okay? I do expect many interruptions. My baby is napping. I have my toddler right here, but it's real life. So we're just going with the flow. So before I had my baby, I tried to plan for postpartum as best as I could. I had some things laid out like workbooks, read alouds, educational websites and things like that. So let me just talk through this as well as talk about my postpartum a little bit to kind of share if what I planned actually worked for us, okay? For the first week or so, I knew that I didn't want to do anything homeschool related. First week postpartum is very, very intense, if I do say so myself, as far as, after birth pains, trying to get adjusted, let's say you had an extended hospital stay, maybe your children are with other family members for that week while you and baby get adjusted and things like that. So for me, the first week, it was definitely nothing homeschool related. It was me trying to rest and recover, me trying to get sleep, get adjusted, as well as having the kids bond and everyone bond, just get used to having a new addition to the family. So the first week we took the whole week off. Of course, I did give my children the option to still work on their workbooks, which I do have here, and I'll talk a little bit more about. But it wasn't like something I was pressuring them to do, like, hey, get up, do your workbook. It was really relaxed, really chill. They were really close, in the room with us, just trying to see what baby was doing. Uriah, stop. Admiring their sister, helping me with things that I needed, because the first week is intense, as I said. So I didn't have much energy, I didn't have much strength, and I needed a lot of things. So they were really happy to help me as best as they could, put my socks on, get my water, my snacks, my vitamins, my tea, my food, anything that I needed. My little helpers were there to help. So that was the first week. Now the second week, it was a little better. I noticed that, of course, the after birth contractions, they slowed down a whole lot. As far as how they were in the first week, right? And so I was like, I have to get a little something going on, because the children, they were starting to, amp up a little bit. It was like, okay, I need y'all to do something. They were playing, they were reading on their own, but it was like the whole day of no structure. I don't just have the TV on, so it was a lot. It was a lot of noise. It was a lot of, sibling things. Noise. It could be, bickering at each other, or for my toddler, it was tantrums if he didn't get a yes to everything he asked for. So I was like, you know what? We're going to pull out the workbooks. I want y'all to all three come in here, sit by the bed, sit by me, come sit in the room with me so I can see what y'all are doing. Do a few workbook pages. Let's sit down. You can play in here, but I need to have y'all close so I can know exactly what y'all doing. I cannot get up and walk and, try to figure out who did what, who hit who said something they're not supposed to. So for the second week, we kind of started to get into the workbooks. And the workbooks that I chose was the Brain Quest. So I have the Brain Quest for 2nd grade and Brain Quest for 3rd grade. These are like $6-7, and I chose Brain Quest because I wanted something to serve as review, not as something that's introducing new topics, but to serve as review. So they are reviewing things that they should already know, things that we have covered, and that way I don't have to teach a whole lesson. I don't have to prep supplies, gather supplies, or things like that. It was more so review. And if you're not familiar with the Brain Quest workbook, they do have like little brain boxes in here. So for each lesson or topic that they pretty much go through in here, they have a little information about it just in case they need a review. And so I love that. These workbooks are meant to be done independently. So as I said, this is more so as a review. If there are things in here that we have not covered, I just tell them to skip it and go to something that they're comfortable with doing. Or if it's something that doesn't require a lot of like in-depth teaching, then I'll just, give them a background, introduce it, loosely, and then we may watch a video or something like that. So this is what we introduced first. They would do brain quiz every day. It wasn't a specific time, but we did that. We also did read alouds. So I watched a Keeble Mays video on the books you should read if you want your children to be ridiculously smart. So I ordered some books, including My Father's Dragon, The Wild Robot, and a few other books that she recommended. So we started doing read alouds. I also posted something on Instagram and Facebook on just a snapshot I took of the first, pretty much second and third week of me homeschooling. So we still did State of the Week for geography. We did mystery science, which is online science. We're using the free version, and we did a read aloud. So we were doing a novel study. We were doing My Father's Dragon at that time. So pretty much that's what our homeschool has looked like. Now, on the days where it's like I don't really want to do the read aloud, or I don't want to do anything extra, and I don't feel like dealing with the mess of the crafts and stuff, I would tell them to turn on like a PBS Kids episode, like The Weather Hunters, and let me know what they got from that, or a movie based on a book that we have read, so they can write in their journal what they learned, how is the book different from the actual book, and stuff like that. So far so good, y'all. As I said, nothing the first week. The second week we kind of moved into the workbooks, and then each day from there we started incorporating a little bit more based on what they're asking for. So if they want to learn about a new state of the week, we incorporated that. They're really into mystery science, so I've been trying to implement that. And hear me out when I say this is not something I did like in this room. I did most of this stuff from the comfort of my bed, not even the couch, the bed, because this time around I had no desire, energy to get up and go to the couch for homeschool. I laid in the bed a good amount of time, and I had them to come get in the bed with me with their books, or they would sit in the chair or sit on the floor. But we were all in the same room, and I was comfortable. I was able to nurse my baby, hold my baby the whole time, and I still had them with me. And it was still a bonding moment for all of us. So you don't have to, if you are aching, in pain, no energy, low energy, still need to heal, need to take it very, very slow, you can do these things from the comfort of your bed. I have a nursing cart or utility cart near my bed, so I had some books, I had some worksheets for my toddler that he could do, or I would pull a workbook or a coloring book. Those are some things that they really enjoyed and really loved. So now that we are 4 weeks in, I want to say last week I started trying to get back into our core curriculum with our Math for Confidence, our language arts. And what I realized is, although I thought I was ready to get back into that, I'm not quite ready yet. We did our core curriculum for 3 days, and I was like, this is a lot more than I want at the moment. So I went back to the workbooks just to slow it down a little bit, and I started trying to figure out a plan to prep the things in advance so things can go smoothly, as well as trying to pick a certain time to where I want to start homeschool when my baby is napping. So I initially said I wanted to do 11:30 as our start time. We can have breakfast, they can play. I got things together. I've done things that I need to do as far as, whatever I need to do. And yeah, by 11, she's usually down for her nap. So we may start then. But it really just depends. With the newborn, schedules are unpredictable. If they stayed up the night before, it's kind of okay, we may have to push it back, or we may have to start a little earlier. So all in all, I've been giving myself grace, but every single day my children are doing something. They are reading something. They're doing something. So they have been baking, right? They have been doing reading eggs. They have been, watching educational videos, shows. We've also done the movie night. So when we finish,
movie night.
So when we finished doing reading My Father's Dragon, we watched a movie, but I was unaware of the series. That is more than one book that goes to that series. So we only read the first book in the series, but they were still able to compare the movie to the book. And of course, I turned it into a lesson. I printed out questions for each chapter. We stopped and talked about it. We went over vocabulary. And at the end, they wrote in their journals the difference or their favorite part, favorite character, or whatever the case may be. So, looking forward, what I really want to do, I, of course, in this season am giving myself grace, but I also want the kids to have a little structure. So, we are going to implement something that we do, at least 1 or 2 things that we do every single day, and then just have everything else be super flexible. So whether that's a read aloud, oh, I forgot to mention this. So after we finished My Father's Dragon, we got started with the audiobook, Mr. Popper's Penguins. So we listened to that as an audiobook. I could have done the ebook as well.
We watched the movie and we watched it.
We read it and then we watched the movie, right? So they did listen to it as an audiobook, and it had like 20 some chapters. So it took us a good minute. We listened to it at home, like sometimes before bed. Sometimes before bed, we listen to it when we're going to and from the doctor's appointment. We listen to it sometimes after breakfast until we finished it, and then we watched the movie, Mr. Popper's Penguin, which was different from the book, but it did have some similarities. And so that's been our thing. If we're not doing our core curriculum, then we are doing some form of learning and some form of language arts, reading, as well as questions.
Yes.
And then they've also been finding a way to get math done in, whether it's review and multiplication, skip counting, adding, subtracting, measurement. They've been in the kitchen baking pretty much solo since I've had the baby. So it's been really fun. I'm excited because I can see that things are becoming a little bit more normal now. I'm starting to get more energy and moving a little bit more now.
Small pancake.
I'm moving a little bit more now, so I'm excited. I'm not trying to do too much. We're still taking it very, very slow. But as far as our non-negotiables, I'm figuring those out and when I want to do them. It is kind of difficult trying to figure out like how to give, all of the attention to all 4 of them. But I've noticed that with my son, I've been doing worksheets, I've been doing flashcards, and I have been doing the brain quest cards as well. So it's been pretty simple and laid back, as well as some of the toys that he's playing with, the number box cards. So we're counting, we're identifying. Sometimes we'll do the posters, or I tell him to bring a puzzle to me to do in bed or whatever. So I've been trying to just take it a little easy on certain things, but with my 8 and 6-year-old, they're definitely capable of getting their book, reading directions, or asking questions if they need help. So that's pretty much how things have been. I will say throughout these past 4 weeks, I have had to go be readmitted to the hospital due to postpartum symptoms. So about the second week, I was... Yes, my blood pressure went up. So the second week, I was readmitted to the hospital for elevated blood pressure. So pretty much that whole week, I have been dealing with like a headache due to that. So my blood pressure is not totally normal right now, but it's way lower than it was. So all praises for that. As I heal, it is getting better. So that also went into me taking a break on the core curriculum, or me taking a break on things that I was trying to get started. But I always had my handy dandy workbooks right here. So even if it was only 1 or 2 pages a day, they did it, I checked it, and we either listened to an audiobook, or they read independently, or they just played, with nothing really expected as far as turning it in. So I say all this to say, in this season, I am definitely giving myself grace. I am letting my children adjust as well to being big siblings, especially my toddler. And we are taking it easy. We are focusing on healthy meals. We are focusing on just bonding, helping out as a family. We're prioritizing reading for everyone. So I'll have the little ones read to the baby. I read to them. And it's been really fun. Postpartum recovery is something that is often overlooked, but sometimes, you know, you just need to take it slow. You really do. So no, I'm not expecting to get ahead with them as far as, you know, doing 3-4 lessons or anything like that. I'm doing what we can. I'm doing what I deem necessary at the moment, but I'm taking it slow. I'm eating well. I'm getting my sleep. I am giving them their attention as I can. And I would say overall things are going well. This has been the best postpartum experience I've had. This is my 4th time around. I didn't expect to be dealing with high blood pressure issues after, you know, after having my baby, because I've never dealt with that before. But everything is of the Lord, right? So it's like, even though there are some challenges and new things that I'm having to deal with, I have had so much support. Meals cooked, people coming by, people calling me in, getting things delivered, people getting the kids, taking them out, just keeping them, letting me get time to myself just to bond with the baby, time to catch up on sleep, you know. And so it's been the same. It takes a village, and I've had that village. And so yeah, we're taking things easy. We are just enjoying, you know, being a family of 6 now, but homeschooling is still a priority, right? Doing life as a family is a priority. Like, homeschooling is not a separate, just academic thing. It's an adjustment. Like, having a new sibling, having a new child in the house is a whole, like, science, social study lesson wrapped into whatever. They're seeing the baby grow, right? They're seeing all of the changes, but they're also adapting and adjusting to their roles and how they can be helpful. And it's so much that they're learning. So I don't put pressure on myself to be like, okay, we didn't do math today, we didn't do language arts today, you know, I feel bad. No, that's not the case. You know, if we don't get to the formal lesson, then we have workbook pages, or we just give ourselves grace. We do reading, we do math as best as we can. We put science in the kitchen, and we're gonna get better. This is only a season, a beautiful season at that. So there's no need to rush on my behalf, but we are taking it slow. We're getting our groove, and we are starting to pick up and do more day by day. So that's all I have for an update, right? I'm so blessed to be a mama of 4. So I'm just soaking up all the moments, but I do want to document just this part of our journey and how it's going, to even share like the struggles and the challenges, right? They have to do something on a daily. If not, it can be chaos. It can be super loud, you know, get super messy, no work get done. You know, that still comes with it. Just because I had a new baby does not mean that children will give you grace. Like, you have to still set boundaries and put things into place so they are doing what they need to do and that things are under control, especially when my husband is at work. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions, any suggestions, or any thing that has helped you get through your postpartum period, newly postpartum as a mom while homeschooling. Let me know. But I'll see you guys in my next video.